Hello everyone, welcome to anthropology video. And in this particular video I am going to teach you the chapter 1 from chapter 1.1 to chapter 1.3. And before I start the video, I want to tell you few things. First thing is that when this particular video is completed, so I will give you some questions. You have to answer those particular questions. I'll give a link in the description below. So from that particular link you can go to a website from where all the questions will be given, so you can answer each and every question. Now second thing is, whatever questions you are going to answer, the answers are given in this particular video, so you have to watch it very carefully in order to answer those particular questions. And third thing is that anthropology is not about researching and making sure that you understand or you have very holistic knowledge of each and everything. Anthropology is all about getting marks in UPSC mains examination. If you choose this subject, so don't make it complicated, make it very simple. Fine. So whatever I am going to teach you, just you have to revise it again and again rather than refer from so many sources and try to add few more points. You can add more points when you will answer those particular question and answers. However, whatever I am going to teach you here, that will be more than enough for those particular topics. Fine. Okay. This is the first 1.1, meaning, scope and development of anthropology. So development you will study in chapter 6 of anthropology. There you will study different theories and how those theories have evolved, which theory comes first, which theory comes later. All this thing you will study in chapter 6. Now meaning one of the definitions I am giving you here. And scope of anthropology. Scope, you will also learn scope later, means basically whatever study you do about human beings, it will all come under scope. Now one of the definitions I am giving here of anthropology, I will read it for you. It is a discipline of infinite curiosity about human beings. The term comes from the Greek anthropos, which stands for man or human, and logos, which stands for study. So study of man will be termed as anthropology. Now it studies origin, development and nature of human species. So this is the definition. You have to mug it up, you don't have to apply that much brains in it. Now one by one I am going to teach you the relationship of anthropology with different subjects. Say for example here, anthropology and life sciences. So first you have to understand what is life science. So life science meaning is that study of living organisms. So you know that whatever living organisms, let's say microorganisms are there, bacteria, protozoa, fungi, algae. Then higher organisms or complex organisms are there, like plants are there, animals are there, flora, fauna, everything. So all that will be coming under living organisms. So study of those particular thing is called life sciences. Now how it is related to anthropology. So here I have given some common aspects like human physiology, human morphology or anatomy, and human genetics. So these things are common among anthro and life sciences. So what is human physiology? Physiology is how your body functions, how it grows, how it develops, and what is the different part and how they are related to each other. So this will all come under physiology. You would have heard about physiologist. Then second part is human morphology or anatomy. So here morphology basically means shape or size, and anatomy means your internal body structure. So you will study in morphology or anatomy the structure of humans, animals, or whatever the internal structure is there or external structure is there. Study of that will be coming under human morphology or anatomy. Then the third is human genetics. So basically it pertains to the heredity or passing of genetic information from one generation to the another. So if the question comes like what is the relationship between anthro and life sciences, so you have to write about human physiology, human morphology and human genetics. So just give these three. First give the definition of life sciences and then tell that how the anthropology is related to life sciences due to the following three parts which are common among both, and then write about this. Okay. Then relationship of anthropology with medicine. Now what is medicine? Medicine basically is diagnosis, treatment and prevention of disease. So this is the branch of science which cures diseases. Now how it is related to anthro? Now anthro, you have to remember this term, epidemiological anthropology. Then you have to learn the terms human serology. You have to mention these two things if the relationship with anthro and medicine is asked. Now epidemiological anthropology basically means same thing, diagnosis, treatment and prevention of disease. This is also comes under epidemiological anthropology. And human serology. Serology means the scientific study of blood serum. This blood serum, it your blood contains a serum, so it's scientific studies called human serology. And what is the significance of it? It will study the immune system of humans and how it responds to the different pathogens or the external living organisms which can harm your body, and different introduced substances whatever goes into inside your body. So how your body gives response to it, that will come under human serology. Then growth and development and genetic diseases. So these just remember all these things: growth and development, genetic disease, epidemiological anthropology and human serology. So these four things you have to mention if the relationship between anthro and medicine is asked. Then coming on the differences, the first difference is that the anthropology basically it studies the primitive or the ancient societies and how the diseases are cured in that particular society. And even the modern societies also it anthropology studies. However, the medicine only studies the modern or contemporary societies. Contemporary means present society. So the medicine scope is limited because it studies the present diseases and health conditions. However, anthropology studies every diseases throughout the centuries, like present whatever is happening now, then primitive societies, peasant societies, advanced societies, everything. So anthropology scope is more wider. Then anthropology is a holistic science and medicine is a part science. Why? Because anthropology studies everything: economics, geography, polity of different customary societies or in modern societies, whereas medicine just is about prevention, diagnosis and treatment of different diseases. So medicine is just a part science, it's just a part. Now next difference is that anthropology basically it is based on the folk understanding or the general understanding of the people, means how the people perceive their environment and all. Medicine is based on scientific understanding. So this is the third difference: medicine is based on scientific understanding, anthropology on folk understanding or general understanding of human biology. Then the next difference is that anthropology studies how the diseases are caused due to personality. In personality, the supernatural beings will come, that this particular disease has been caused because of spirits and all. Then emotionalist means different diseases caused due to anger or anxiety. You know that due to anxiety your blood pressure will increase and you will feel very low, and during anger a lot of hormones are released. And also naturalistic causes like external environment, let's say heat or cold. Say for example, during cold you get cough and cold and all those things. So all these things are studied in anthropological medicine. However, in medical studies do not recognize the personality thing, that is supernatural. So medical science does not say that disease can be caused due to spirits or bhoot or chudal or witches and all those things. So medicine only studies naturalistic cause, that is external environment, due to external environment, or emotionalist, that is due to your emotional phase. So this is one of the very basic and very important difference between anthro and medicine. Now okay, since now how anthropology works, say for example a particular society is there, so it will be having some belief that this particular disease is caused due to this particular spirit or due to witches or due to many things. So they will have their own belief, and due to that they will have their own technique of treatment. But this is not the case with medicine. In medicine there is a fixed treatment, means whatever is the disease they will diagnose it, and it is a scientific analysis. And here people do analysis based on their own belief, that if someone is mentally disturbed, so they will say that mata aa gayi hai iske upar, like that. So this is like more superstitious and this is very scientific. Now the place of medicine in any society, it will be determined by social and economic structure. So if a society gives more value to health and diseases, so it will be having better medicine, it will adopt modern medicine, and it will be having more healthy society. And though modern culture lays great deal of stress upon scientific medicine as opposed to folk medicine, one cannot forget that socio-cultural forces play a large part in determining the meaning of health and disease. So here it is saying that currently we are focusing more on modern medicine. However, the nature of the society, the different socio-cultural relationships and all those things, they also affect your well-being. So both anthropology and medicine should work in tandem, should work together in order to solve the different problems of human beings. So this could be the conclusion if you ask. Okay. Then relationship of anthropology with earth sciences. So before I will tell you what is the relationship, you should know that what is earth sciences, what are the different constituents of earth sciences. So basically earth sciences consist of geology. Geology means the physical composition of earth and different processes which act on it. Now physical structure or composition, you know that how different rocks are formulated, what is the different composition of the different rocks, how weathering occurs, how erosion occurs, how deposition occurs, all that thing will come under geology. Then that is a part of earth sciences. Then second part is meteorology, that is climate and weather, your external environment. So then third is oceanography. Oceanography means study of oceans. And fourth is astronomy. Astronomy is study of stars, planet, comets, galaxy, your external space, whatever comes beyond your environment or climate and weather, it will come under astronomy, basically the space bodies. So if the relationship between anthro and earth sciences is asked, so you have to relate based on these particular components of the earth sciences. So I have given here one by one all the components and how they are related to anthro. So geology, how geology is related, because with the help of geology in anthropology, the age of different fossils which are related to man or his tools or different other fossils, that is determined. Then man's culture is determined by fossil records. Then whatever the materials are formed or means found, they have been analyzed by the use of geology. Then whatever the past is there, so it is reconstructed by geology. Then it also provides chronology. This is very very important because you should know which thing occurred at what time. So whatever time sequence is there, that will be provided by geology. So this is one of the relationships. Then second is meteorology. So meteorology means general climatic and weather condition. So here how it will help, that it will tell you that during different time periods what is the general climate and how humans were living in that particular climate, how they adapted, how they survived, and how they means how their population grew. So say for example during let's say Pleistocene or let's say during very ancient era, the Africa was totally means on the equator, and it was a evergreen kind of thing. So let's say right now a large part of Africa is desert, but maybe during ancient time it was having lush green forest. So meteorology will tell that what was the ancient climatic conditions. Then oceanography. By studying oceans, you will be able to know what is the level of ocean during different eras, and you will also know about plate tectonics, how different continents have moved, and what is the migration pattern of the human beings via oceans. That also we will study here. Then astronomy. Astronomy is very important because it is directly related to the religious beliefs and mythologies of the people, and many people means also worship different celestial objects like sun, moon, stars, and they have the religious feeling about that thing. So this is some of the relationship between anthro and earth sciences. Okay, coming on the next thing, archaeological anthropology. This is also a part of that particular earth sciences. So how archaeological anthropology helps, it will do stratigraphic method. So this stratigraphic method, what happens that if this is a land, so there will be different stratas or different levels. If you will dig it, so means due to deposition of different layers of the soil, there will be different layers. So if you study all those particular layers, that is called stratigraphic method. So that particular method leads to, it will tell you the relative time of different cultures. So this is how the geologists or the earth sciences people help in anthropology. Say for example, in a lake deposit, they will tell you that during which climate or during what era, what time period, which type of climate was there, what type of people inhabited that area, and what is the type of tools used, and all those things. So chronology as well as fossil means material remains of the fossil records are studied in archaeological anthropology. Now paleontology. What is paleontology? This is remember this term, paleontology. Okay, paleontology means study of fossil remains of plants and animals. Now physical anthropologists, basically they are dependent on the geologist and paleontologist. Geologist, why? Because of stratigraphy. They will tell the relative time period, and paleontologists will study the fossil records of plants and animals. Now they will study the fossil records, and then they will take help of anthropological people, and they will tell that which time period which fossil was found. So they what is the use, final use of that all this? It is evolution. You will understand what thing occurred at what phase, how the human beings evolved, or how any organism evolves. So that is the basic thing which paleontology and archaeological anthropology help by determining the evolution. Now archaeological anthropologists, they can also tell you what are the different types of stone tools, and at which particular site they have been found, and what is their material composition, and how they will do this thing by help of mineralogy. So mineralogy also part of earth sciences. So say for example, there was a piece of quartz were discovered in Peking, so due to which people were knowing that this deposit of the quartz was around 1 kilometer from the place where this particular piece was found. So that's how the people came to know that this particular thing was transported from that particular place to this particular place by someone. So they excavated that place and they found Peking man. So Peking man is one of the Homo sapiens species. So this is how these are some of the points which you can write between relationship between anthropology and earth sciences. Okay. Now, what is the relationship of anthropology with social sciences and humanities? So this will be a direct question. If they ask you, you have to talk about all the social sciences. Say for example, history. Now history, how anthro is different from history. Basically anthro studies origin of civilization and culture, and how the process of evolution occurs. So this is the main theme of anthro. However, the history studies any particular civilization. It does not studies origin, it studies that particular civilization. And it also is very particularistic, means it will define that particular civilization culture based on a particular period. However, anthropology gives process of evolution. It will be covering many periods. So that is one of the differences. Now they both study human past. However, the history, it will give you the chronological narration, means step by step narration of the political events. That is very important, that history gives chronological narration of political events, whereas anthropology concentrates on human culture and interrelationship between the social aspects and physical aspects of the same culture. So what is the difference? That history basically talks about political events in chronological order, and anthropology talks about the evolution of the culture and social aspects, and how what is the interrelationship of different cultural themes. So that is studied in anthropology. So it is evolutionary and this is particularistic. Okay, next is relationship of anthro with socio. So what is the basic difference? Sociology basically studies human behavior in groups, whereas anthropology studies human behavior in social surroundings. A particular human being is studied here, and here the human beings are studied in groups. What is the group mentality, how the groups are working, that is the basic concern of sociology. Then a lot of concepts have been derived from culture, sociology to anthropology, and anthropology to sociology. So this you can study by yourself. Say for example, the studies of Ralph Linton and Abraham Cardiner have given the concept of basic personality, and what is basic personality? Basically it is the cultural influence on an individual from the very childhood, and it differs from society to society. So this particular difference in cultural influence, this has been adopted in sociology also, and sociology also gives some concepts to anthropology. This you can study by yourself. Now these some of the points are very important here, relating to sociology and anthropology. See, anthropology has proved that the mental features or whatever your thinking is, it does not influence. It is not in. It is not influenced. Means whatever physical characteristics are, they are not influenced by the mental special features, and the influence of environment is the chief cause of the mental differences. So. Basically whatever your mental upbringing or whatever behavior or psychology is there, that is due to that environment. That has been proved by anthropology, and also anthropology has helped in disapproving the idea of racism. So sociology gives the concept of races also. Even in anthro, initially the race concept was given. However, due to later studies in genetics and all, now the concept of races has been disproved. So basically it says that we all are evolved from the same ancestor, and we are just we are not different at all, means no one is superior or inferior. So that is in racism. Basically different races say that Caucasians or Negroid, so some race say that we are more intelligent, we are more superior, but that is not the case, because we all have evolved from the same ancestor. So that is proved by anthro, and that is how it disapproves the idea of racism, which is present in socio. Okay, now next difference, the anthropology studies primitive society or means ancient society, and sociology studies only modern society. So this is very basic difference, and actually this question was asked this year in UPSC mains, that what is the difference between sociology and anthro. So these are some of the things which you can write, that sociology studies group behavior, sociology studies modern society, anthropology studies man in a social surrounding, that is the individual behavior, and anthropology is basically it mainly studies primitive society. Now social anthropology studies all the social, economic, political and cultural aspects of mankind. Again the point is same, that anthropology is all holistic, means it will include everything of that particular culture, whereas sociology is just about the social relation and social interaction. So this is also part humanity subject. So sociology is more particularistic and anthropology is more generalized. So this particular thing is applicable to each and every subject. If you will talk about history and anthro, so you can say that history is just studying history, whereas anthropology studies everything, history, polity, economy and all. Now the next point is that social anthropology is this is also important point, that social anthropologist basically they use directly applied methods such as participant observation. So directly they will go and they will interact with the people, and then they will write their observations, whereas sociologists basically they use the data collection methods like survey and statistical methods. So they are more dependent on the external feedback or whatever data they are getting from external sources, whereas anthropologists they generally are dependent on their own sources. They have to go in the field and study. So that is one of the main differences between sociology and anthro. So this point, this point, this point and the previous point you can write in this particular answer. Okay, now the relationship of anthropology with political science and economics. Now what is the basic difference? Say for example socio-cultural anthropology, it will study economic, political, legal and all other social and cultural aspect of the society. Again the socio-cultural anthropology is holistic, and again you have to write that economics will study only the economic aspects, and politics will only study the political aspects of the society. So this is one of the general points which you have to write in each and every uh, whatever relationships are asked. Then the second point is that anthropology studies all the human behavior, whereas same point that economics and politics, they study only particular behavior like political behavior or economic behavior, and anthropology studies all the human behavior. Then economics studies system of production, distribution and consumption, again mostly in modern nations or the modern societies, and anthropology studies the same thing in primitive societies or peasant societies, or some extent urban societies also. So the points are same, like whatever you have studied in the difference between anthro and socio, same things you have to write between anthro and economics or anthro and political science. Okay, then the next point is that the theories of economics which we know right now, they may not be applicable to the primitive or the peasant societies, because there are different economic theories. Let's say there is different economic relation in the ancient societies. They directly don't work on the market economy or the capitalist economy. So what are the different economic system that you will study later? However, the theories of economics are not applicable to the peasant societies. uh, so they are applicable to the advanced or the modern societies. Now political science, it deals with the philosophical ideas of the great thinkers, and it will study constitution and other such huge institutions, whatever the infrastructure is there in the developed societies. But in anthropology, what anthropology studies, it studies politics among pre-literate societies or the ancient societies which do not live in nation states, basically chiefdom, tribes, then bands and all those things. So how there the power structure, power is there, then how authority is divided among different people in the ancient societies or the pre-literate societies, that is studied by anthro. And in political science, the modern societies or the developed societies are studied. Then this is the last relationship, anthropology and behavioral science. So in behavioral science, basically we will talk about psychology. So psychology is the science of human behavior. So psychology studies human behavior in relationship to environment, and anthropology is also studying the relationship of human behavior in different environments. Now both try to understand man in the context of social behavior. Anthropology is also comparative and analytical study of human behavior and experiences. So it compares among different human beings or different cultures. And psychology is basically, it tries to go into the deep and understand about a different a specific culture. However, anthropology is more comparative. Now psychology will give different concepts, due to which you will be able to understand the root cause of different human behaviors, why human beings behave in a certain way. So that will be studied by the psychology. However, anthropology will study how different cultures influence the different human personalities or human behavior. So what is the influence of culture on human behavior, that is studied by anthro. And why, what are the different human behaviors and why that particular behavior evolves, that is studied by psychology. Now anthropologists, they have studied the primitive cultures or the ancient cultures, and they have also studied human behavior in different cultural environments. So they have done comparative thing, and they have evolved different theories, like what are the different methods due to which social control occurs, how the culture influences the personality of its members and all those things. So this is an example which you can give. Let's say Margaret Mead, she did one study in Samoa. This is a particular island. So here she saw that the tribal society was having very less restriction on sexual relationships. So there was not any anxiety associated with adolescence, and this anxiety is associated with adolescence in the Western societies, where there is a lot of restriction on the sexual relationship between different people. So this was one of the studies. This is one of the case study which you can write in this particular thing, anthropology and behavior sciences, or anthropology and psychology, what is their common thing and how each both of them help each other. Now one of the differences between psychology and anthropology is that psychology studies human individual behavior in social environment, whereas anthropology studies not an individual but the whole of the mankind, mainly groups of individual. So what is the group mentality? That is studied in anthro, whereas individual behavior and how the individuals react in different social environment, that is studied in psycho. So this particular 1.2 chapter is over. Now moving to chapter 1.3. Main branches of anthropology. Now the questions are asked every year. A 10 marker question is asked from this particular chapter, and here in the syllabus these particular topics are given: socio-cultural anthropology, biological anthropology, archaeological anthropology, and linguistic anthropology. So here I am going to give you the definition and what you have to write in these particular topics, and you have to write only that thing. You don't have to refer any other source. Fine. So let's start. Biological anthropology, this is the first one. So it seeks to answer two distinct set of questions. Now first set includes questions about the emergence of man. So this is very important: emergence of humans and their evolution. So this is the first part that is answered by biological anthropology, and this particular branch is called human paleontology or paleoanthropology. So just remember the term that paleoanthropology is studying of emergence of humans and their evolution. That is called paleoanthropology. So this is one of the branch of physical biological anthropology, and this is also known as physical anthropology. So here you will study how the human beings evolved from earlier primates and to apes, and from apes to homo species. There are different homo species, and what were the different structural and behavioral changes in the process. So this whole first chapter of physical anthropology, this is totally biological anthropology only. Now how this is done? This is done by examining fossil records and examining different theories related to that particular evolution. Theories are given by different thinkers like Darwin, Lamarck and all. Now I'll give you the definition of paleontology. Paleontology is the branch of science concerned with fossil animals and plants. And when it becomes paleoanthropology, means basically studying the different fossils in order to determine the evolution of homo species or humans. Now second set or the second part of biological anthropology will answer the question on how and why contemporary human population vary biologically. So the first answer is that what is their evolution pattern. Second is why the present particular different population vary biologically. So this particular focus is called human variation. So here what you will study different races, how those particular races are formulated, what are different blood types, what is genetic differences between different blood types or different races, what is morphological difference, that is outer form of difference between different races, what is physiological differences among various human populations. Physiology means you know that how your internal body parts work. So this is the second set of the question. So this you will read from chapter 9 to chapter 12 in the anthropology, that is also biological anthropology. So chapter 9 is genetics, chapter 10 is human development and growth, chapter 11 is regarding your reproduction and fertility and development of human body, chapter 12 is applied anthropology. So all that will be answered in second set of biological anthropology, and first set will be evolution and difference in how evolution occurred and all those things. So if the question comes like define biological anthropology, so you have to just write this particular thing: first set, second set, what are the different aspects of those particular two sets. Okay. So one of the examples like this second set is that what is the human difference. Say some people are taller, some, let's say, Danish people are taller, whereas the Filipinos or these Asian people are shorter, or their height is low. So why their height is low? Is there any influence of environment, or it is genetic, or those things that you will study here. Then some societies are more resistant to cold, means the people who are living in polar regions, they will be more cold resistant. So why that occurs, why that happens, that you will also study. Or some people have darker skin. You know that the people of African nations, they are very dark skinned, whereas the people living in the colder regions, they have very light skin. So why that occurs, what is melanin, and why its concentration increases or decreases among different populations. So these are some of the examples of second set, human variation. The first set is evolution, second set is human variation. So these two things are studied in biological anthropology. So if you have to study this second set, so you have to study human genetics. What is human genetics? Study of human traits that are inherited, that is called human genetics. Whatever you will inherit via genes, that will come under human genetics. Then population biology. What is population biology? The study of environmental effects on and interaction with population characteristics. So how environment determines what will the structure of the population, what will the number of the population, how the population will grow, that all will come under population biology. Then epidemiology, we have already studied about epidemiology, that is the study of how and why diseases affect different population in different ways. So this will be your biological anthropology. Now here I have given definition of fossil. What is fossil? Fossil is buried hardened remains or the impression of human, pre-human or related animals or plants. So whatever buried remains you find, that is called fossils. And physiology, already I have given you the definition. The definition is that branch of biology dealing with functions and activities of living organisms and their parts, including all physical and chemical processes. So whatever chemical processes occur in your body, say for example how your body digests the food, how it absorbs different nutrients, what are the functions of different nutrients or fats, carbohydrates, proteins, lipids and all, what are different enzymes, what are different hormones and all, everything will come under physiology. Now cultural anthropology. Now we have studied biological anthropology, now we will study the cultural anthropology. Now what is culture? Culture refers to the customary way of thinking and behaving of particular population or society. So how they think and how they behave, that will come under culture. Now definitions of culture are given by different scholars, so one of the definitions we will mug up later. For now, just you have to remember that customary way of thinking and behaving of particular population or society. So it includes all aspects of life, which includes language, religious belief, food preferences, music, work, habit, gender roles, child rearing practices, etc., etc. However, if the cultural anthropology is asked, so you have to draw a diagram. I will show you the diagram. Cultural anthropology basically consists of three parts. So all those three parts we'll discuss. So this is the diagram. This I have taken from Ember and Ember. This is one of the very important diagrams. So as you can see that this is whole anthropology. Okay. Now anthropology is divided into two parts, biological and cultural. Now this thing is cultural anthropology and this thing is biological anthropology. Now these particular subjects are study of past, and these are the study of past and present, recent, past and present. Now in cultural anthropology, I told you that there are three parts. So first is archaeology, second is ethnology, and third is anthropological linguistics. And now anthropological linguistics is also divided into two parts, historical linguistic and descriptive or structural linguistic. So if the question comes like define anthropological linguistics, so you have to write about historical and structural and descriptive linguistic, and you have to write that is a part of cultural anthropology. Historical, I will give you the definitions later. Now the basic research, how it occurs, it will include everything, and applied anthropology also includes all these particular things. So basic research and applied anthropology are basically whatever studies you have done here. So how you have to apply everything, so that comes under here. Okay, this diagram, just remember it, you have to draw. Okay, as I told you that the cultural anthropology has three parts, archaeology, ethnology and linguistics. So first we will study archaeology. What is archaeology? So archaeologists try to reconstruct historical past by fossil and material remains found in their expeditions. So they also try to explain why cultural changes occur and trace such cultural changes. So what are the archaeologists? They reconstruct historical past. First point, how they do that? By studying fossil and material remains, which they do in their they find in their expeditions. Then second thing they do is why the culture change occurs and how it occurs. These things are explained by archaeologists. Now this is very important that archaeologists are not dependent on written records. So they are totally dependent on the fossil record or the things that they find in their excavation. They don't study books or histories and all those things. So they reconstruct history from the remains of human cultures. So basically they study prehistory. Prehistory is the time before the written records. So when we were not having script, so that is the time which is studied by archaeologists. Now historical archaeology, this is one of the things you should know. Now what is historical archaeology? Archaeology, you know that they do not use the written records. However, historical archaeology, it uses written records. Okay, so it is a specialized branch of that studies the remains of the recent people who left written records. So their ancient records are studied by this historical archaeologist people. Now in order to do such things, archaeologists take help of different disciplines. For example, by using geological information, you know where to dig, how to study fossil findings, and how to reconstruct environment during that particular phase. So this is how the archaeologists work. They use different disciplines in order to know or answer these particular questions. Say for example, they will use chemistry in order to know what are the materials they have excavated. They will use history and geography to know that what was means where the cities were there, what was the migration pattern, and where to dig in order to find those cultural remains. So this is how the archaeology is dependent on different subjects. I think now you should you know that what is difference between historical archaeology and archaeology. Now coming on the second thing, anthropological linguistics. As I already told you that cultural anthropology has three parts: archaeology, linguistics, and tell archaeology, linguistic, and ethnology. Ethnology means studying of the present tribes or cultures. Now we'll see what is linguistics, anthropological linguistics. So basically whatever linguistics subject is there, so linguistics basically they try to concentrate on the languages that have been written for a long time. However, how this thing changes in anthropology? What happens in anthropology is that anthropologists work in those particular places where there is no language, means many tribes are there, so they will talk among each other, but they don't have any script or grammar or any dictionary, so they don't have any written records. So then anthropological linguistics, they help them to construct that particular grammar, script, language and all, and then they study the structure and history of that particular language. So that is the difference between normal linguistics and anthropological linguistics. That normal linguist, they study the written records that have been there for a long time. However, anthropological linguistics, they make their own records by for making their own script and all. Now if the question comes on anthropological linguistics, so you have to write these three particular parts of anthropological linguistic, that is historical linguistic, structural linguistic, and social linguistic. So in what is historical linguistic? It basically studies how the languages change over time and how they may be related towards each other. So basically the questions that are asked for historical linguistics are that means how they have diverged from a common ancestral language, what is their evolution pattern, how far they are related back, and when they differed, and also this all come under historical linguistic. Now structural linguistic, this particular branch studies the contemporary or the modern languages, and how the different languages differ in their construction. So it also studies how sounds and words are put together to form a speech, and what is the principle behind them. Say for example, in the American Samoa, T and K are interchangeable. in a word without causing a difference in the meaning. So different societies have different principles behind using different sounds and words. So that is studied in structural linguistics. Then coming on the third thing, social linguistic. In social linguistic, what is studied is that how the language is used in different social context. So here the attitude of a speaker is very important, because the spoken language is determined by the social status of the person being addressed. So if you are addressing a person who is older than you, so you will give him respect, you will say aap. Whereas if a person is younger than you, so you may also say tu, tadaka, like that. So this is like social linguistic, that how the language is used in different social contexts, and what is the how the social status of a person determines how he will be talked to. Then coming on the third part of the cultural anthropology, that is ethnology or cultural anthropology. This is also known as cultural anthropology in America. So what is ethnology? Basically ethnology is also known as cultural anthropology, and it is concerned with the pattern of thought and behavior such as marriage custom, kinship organization, political and economic system, religion, folk art, music, and all those things. And one thing very important here is that how these patterns differ in contemporary societies. So here the comparison is very important, that how different societies differ in these particular things of their thought and behavior. That will come under ethnology. And second thing, this is the comparison of different cultures, and second thing it studies is dynamics of culture, that is how various cultures develop and change. So the evolution of culture is also studied here, and it also studies the relationship between belief and practices within culture. So relationship between mental structure and material structure. So this will study in your theories. Now ethnographers. Who are the ethnographers? So you have learned about ethnology. Ethnology basically contains two parts, that it studies different cultures and does comparative analysis, and second thing is that it studies the evolution of culture. Now ethnographer, what they do, they are the ethnologists who prepare detailed description or ethnography of any culture. So they will do extensive field study, they will observe that particular society, they will live with the native people, that is called participant observation. They will talk to them, they will observe them, and they will provide extensive data, means they will write about each and every aspect of that particular society, that is called ethnography. So and they will try to give a holistic overview of their life. So there are different ethnographies written on a lot of tribes. Even in India, a lot of tribes are there, and a lot of anthropologists have written different ethnographies of different tribes. So that you will study later. Now ethnohistorian. Who are the ethnohistorian? Ethnographer is different from ethnohistorian. How? Now ethnohistorian studies how the ways of life of a particular group of people have changed over time. Now there is a difference. Basically ethnographers just go into the field and they directly observe, they do field study, they talk to the people, and then they write their direct observation. However, ethnohistorians, they investigate written records such as missionary account, reports by trader, explorer, government records, and try to establish cultural changes that have occurred. So ethnohistorians are dependent on the written records or the records by the other people. However, ethnographers do direct study. So that is the basic difference here. Both try to write ethnography, but the methodology is different. Now as you can see, ethnographers rely on their own observation, ethnohistorian rely on the observation of other. Now cross-cultural research is another type of ethnologist. Now what this cross-cultural researcher do, he will try to use the data of different ethnographer and ethnohistorians. So whatever ethnohistorians will write or whatever ethnographer will write, this cross-cultural researcher will study that particular data, and then he will try to discover general patterns about cultural traits, like what is the universal in different cultures, what is variable, why traits vary, what is the concept of variability might be. So means basically he will try to compare and contrast different cultures by studying the ethnographies given by different ethnographers and ethnohistorians. That is the that is what cross cultural researcher does. So say for example, why there is more gender inequality in some societies than in others. So this you will study in chapter 2 of paper 1. Or say for example, why is family violence related to aggression in other areas of life. So these are some of the questions which can be answered by the cross cultural researcher. Now comes another branch, applied anthropology. So this applied anthropology is one of the other branches of anthropology. Basically right now we have studied about biological anthropology, socio-cultural anthropology, or cultural anthropology. Now this is the third branch, applied anthropology. Now in applied anthropology, first we will study what is basic research. So basic research means whatever a researcher is doing some research and he does not know what will be the final result. So he will be just doing some experiments, say for example participant observation. So a person will go and study different tribes, he does not know what he will be able to find. So he is doing some research just based on the curiosity. So the knowledge gathered in anthropology is analyzed and processed in correct way, then a lot of solutions could be found to different social problems. Say for example, if a researcher finds that combative sports tend means whatever societies have combative sports, they are more aggressive and they tend to have more wars. So if we come to this particular conclusion, so we can also say that if we have to avoid war, so we have to not play that type of sports which is having more means conflict. So this is how we can change our society. So this is basically applied anthropology is concerned with making anthropological knowledge useful. So this you have to remember, making anthropological knowledge useful. This is the basic work of applied anthropology. Now here I have given some of the examples of that particular application. Say for example, the biological anthropologists, they can be asked to give forensic evidence in court. They also work in public health organization. They help in designing cloth and equipment for which is fit for human anatomy or body structure. So then archaeologists, how they help, say they work in museums, they help in preserving and exhibiting artifacts. And they also work in preservation of cultural sites which have been damaged by construction or excavation. So these are some of the applied nature of archaeologists. Then linguistics, you know that there are different linguistic people who will be working in bilingual education program. So that let's say in embassy, so if you are going to China, so you have to learn Chinese, so that will be teach to you by linguists. So they can also work in helping in ways to improve the communication system. Then ethnologists, you know that they work in different applied projects. Ethnology, you know what is ethnology and what are the ethnographer and what is ethnologist. All these things I have just told you. So they work in different societies. So they directly work in urban planning, community development, healthcare, agriculture improvement, and all the problems whichever a society's means whatever society's problems are there. So they will study it and they will try to remove that. So this applied anthropology is whole chapter 12 is applied anthropology only in this particular paper. So that we will study later. So you have to remember all these 4 examples. If you will write this, then you will get more marks. Okay, then let's discuss some of the questions. Now the lecture is over, so you have to attempt these particular questions. I have given the link in the description below. Just go to the website and try to answer these particular questions. Write in the paper. First go through the whole video, mug up everything, make your own notes, and then after that just mug it up and then write in the paper or directly on the website. So mugging up is very important in this subject. Now let's say the first question is major subdivisions of anthropology. So here you have to write about biological anthropology, cultural anthropology, and applied anthropology. And in biological you have to write about those 2 sets of means those 2 divisions that I told you. And in cultural anthropology you have to tell those 3 divisions: archaeology, and then linguistics and ethnology. And you have to draw the diagram also that I showed you there. Then second question is, how do you situate anthropology in social sciences? So here you have to write the basic relationship of anthropology with history, sociology, psychology, life sciences. Basically they are talking about social sciences, so don't write about life sciences, medical sciences and earth sciences, but write about economy, polity, uh, history, sociology. These four things you have to write and how they are related, so their comparison and contrast, just 2 points, just try to write that. Club together those points which are common. Let's say our anthropology is holistic and these particular subjects are very particularistic, so this is one of the points. Then coming on the next question, archaeological anthropology. I just told you that how what is the basic aim of archaeological anthropology, and how it does, how archaeological anthropology is done, what are the different aspects. So just write all those things and give examples also, like stratigraphy, evolution, chronology and all those things. Then coming on the next question, linguistic anthropology. So here you have to write about those three parts of linguistic anthropology: historical linguistic, socio-cultural, historical, then structural linguist, and then socio-contextual linguistics. So write those three subdivisions, then write two lines about that, so that will be enough for this. Then social and cultural anthropology. So here you have to write about cultural anthropology in general. So again you have to write about the three branches, that is archaeology, linguistics and ethnology. So I have taught you that, so just make notes and write it. Then applied anthropology, just told you that what is applied anthropology. It is like using the anthropology in the day-to-day life, and here you have to write different examples, like how biological anthropology can be used, how ethnology or ethnography can be used, how linguistics can be used and all those things. So give examples, try to give more and more examples here. Then theme of linguistic anthropology, again the same thing, you have to write the three subdivisions and write little bit about that, so that will be enough for this particular thing. So that's all for this particular video, and let's see if I will be able to produce the next video. So I will discuss chapter 1.4 and all the questions related to it. These particular things, they were just the general things that we have discussed till now. Just try to answer those particular questions, that is very important. You have to mug up, you have to revise the same things again and again, and you have to write the same things in the examination. It will fetch you 100% marks, so you don't have to refer any other source right now. Okay, so thank you so much for watching this particular video, and I will see you in the next video.